All right, welcome back everyone to Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. How is it going? How's it going? Ugh, it's been a while. It's been a while since the last stream, so I think we're gonna before we get started, we're gonna quickly run through the court record, try to figure out, get our bearings. Once again, hi Sarah and Don, how's it going? Thanks for joining us. Yeah, let's get right to it. Since we're gonna probably spend a good chunk of time in the court record right at the start, so let's just hop into it, shall we? Yeah, it's a monstrous turnabout. All right, I'm excited to meet our prosecutor who's like charged with murder. A prosecutor who's also a murderer in my Ace Attorney? It's more likely than you think. Von Karma, Goddo. Why does this keep happening? I mean, at least, like, you know. Alright, let's go through this. So, attorney's badge, whatever. Actually, we should do, yeah, we should do characters first. So, Trucy, obviously. Jinxie, the maid of QB Manor, friend of Trucy, she thinks I'm a demon, right, and her father is the defendant, right? Amazing Ninetales, masked wrestler who sparked the monster craze. He's against the municipal merger. No one knows his true identity, but his true identity is actually, Rex QB, the alderman of Ninetales Vale, and who's always been against the idea of the merger. Daidma Temma, Jinxie's father, mayor of Tenma, is found unconscious at the scene of the crime. Right, and he's the one that's being suspected of the crime. And he wants Tenma Town and Ninetales Vale to merge. Athena, latest lawyer to join our agency. She studied psychology while she was in Europe. Phineas Filch, caretaker of QB Manor. He says he was guarding the entrance at the time of the murder, but he's clearly in league with LaBelle. Bobby Fulbright, the detective investigating the murder of Ninetales Vale. Self-styled champion of justice and keeper of the peace. And then Florent LaBelle, Mayor Tenma's aide. He's supposedly in the foyer with Filch at the time of the murder. Right, so they're each other's alibis, but Filch is obviously working with LaBelle. Now, LaBelle, I think, yeah. Hold on. We'll go through this. Attorney's badge, Yokai Legend Scroll, sole document showing what Tenma Tower looks like. It seems like those who foolishly choose to depict the demon are cursed. Right, because there's this big ancient battle where the demon Tenma Tower was sealed away by the Nine-Tailed Fox, supposedly in Ninetales Vale. Tenma Tower warding charm that Jinxie gave me when I set out for the scene of the crime. Ninetales flower found only in Ninetales Vale. It boosts Jinxie's courage because it's her mother's favorite. Right, because her mother was from Ninetales Vale, right? So that's why she decided to work at the QB mansion. Special edition paper, the newspaper with the photograph of Tenma Tower soaring through the air. Tower was captured on camera at 3:40 p.m. near Ninetales Vale. We do know that there is a... Normally don't like ridiculous ideas like this convict prosecutor, but I actually like this idea specifically. Just not a fan of how it's handled in later cases, but I won't spoil anything. Interesting. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there is a Tenma Tower costume. Because there was that wrestling showcase between it and the Amazing Ninetales. So that's probably what that was. And the crime scene diagram, right, that's the foyer, the telephone, Fox chamber, air duct. Right, and the window I think was important as well. So then that leads down through there to the foyer. There is a camera watching the door. And then the caretaker, where he can watch the camera. Fox and Nemo such as the crime scene, depicts Tenma Tower and the Ninetales bloody battle. Right. Crime scene photo. This could be helpful. And black feather standard on top of the blood. Right, yeah, so it looks like obviously Hubie was killed with the spear. And then it looks like maybe Tenma was maybe knocked over the head with the Fox and Demon statue. And then obviously the implication is that, you know, that Tenmataru was released, and then he's the one that walked out of the chamber. That's why there's feathers everywhere. That's why there's footprints, but I don't think we're going to end up going down that route. Amazing Nanto's mask, fast found inside the river. It might have been at the crime scene, white hair inside. Right, because it was, because Alderman Kyubi was the one who actually, was inside the mask. Then photo of the hero, spark with the monster craze, save the Ninetales Veil. Right, so that was like his big push to like make Ninetales Veil more relevant, was becoming a fucking wrestler, of course. Started on a book before the stream. I'm trying to make it. Do I have it? It's been a month since the last episode. I remember almost nothing about the case. Yeah, scheduling has been kind of a pain. Jinxie's statement, Jinxie's eyewitness account of the demon in the hallway near the crime scene. For leaving the scene and calling the police, they passed each other at a bend in the hall as he made for the foyer. He was carrying a staff-like implement that jiggled. Couldn't call for help. There's no one else in the hall. Right. Okay, so Jinxie went into the Fox chamber, discovering the body. She came out, went to the phone to call the police. Then when she was returning to the yeah, so then I'm guessing she returned to the scene of the crime, and as she was returning, Tenmataru walked out of the room. They crossed each other, and went into the foyer, even though no one supposedly saw him. But obviously that's because Phineas and LaBelle are in on it together. Gonna call for help because there's no one else in the hall, right? Yeah, but I guess that would kind of imply that Tenmataru sort of got out of the Forbidden Chamber sometime after the murder occurred. And then TV listings, Tenmatown Pro Wrestling, Howling Wolf vs. Pretty Boy Vampire, Low Level Commentary by Timothy Twilight. Right, because Phineas was, right, at the time of the murder, I mean, well, we don't have an autopsy report, so I don't remember the exact time of the murder, but I'm guessing it was around 3. Phineas was busy watching the wrestling match, which is probably why he didn't see the Tenmataru running, out the room. Okay. We'll need to figure some stuff out as the trial goes on, but I'm sure we'll be caught up soon enough. April 18th, 9:15 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 3. You okay, Athena? You've been really antsy ever since we got here. I'm just excited. This is my first real court case after all. Yeah, a ball of excitement she is. I know just what she needs. Athena! Ah! Did you ever learn about indoor and outdoor voices? I'm just trying to show you the very best way to relieve your pre-trial jitters. By scaring the daylights out of me? No, I find that shouting, "I'm fine!" in a loud voice really relieves stress. It's part of my Courts of Steel voice workout, and a must before every trial. You want me to shout? Here? That's right, here. I'll go first, then you try. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine! Alright, I'm Athena Sykes, and I'm fine! I think that actually worked! I thought it might help. Always worked for me. An old friend of mine from junior high and I say it all the time. I see. A proven remedy to calm the soul. I like it. Hey, how about we finish off with, a race around the courthouse? The point is to relieve stress, not to get totally exhausted. Yeah, what's with all the racket, you two? Ah, Mr. Wright. just a little voice workout. Hey, what's with the suit? Oh, this? I was thinking about getting my attorney's badge back, that's all. Ah, okay, so back then, he hasn't actually gotten his attorney's badge back yet. Cool. Kind of made saying, I'm fine, Apollo's gimmick in this game. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. That's all? Oh, that's huge news. But why now? I have a feeling I'll be needed in the courtroom again sometime soon. We can talk about that another time. Not fair. Inquiring minds want to know. But wow. Oh my god, Hobo Phoenix in the fucking Dual Destinies art style is the stuff of nightmares. So used to him in his usual laid-back clothes. Suit makes him look like $1 million. He should have kept the stubble. He should have kept the stubble. All I'm saying. By the way, have you heard about the prosecutor assigned to this case? Yeah, he's serving time, but before that, he was a prosecutor. He also uses psychology? It wasn't 3D? I don't remember. That's right. There are the rumors about how he was back before his conviction. Using the power of suggestion, he could make even the most stalwart defendants confess. Psychology in the courtroom. Been hearing a lot about that lately. So he must be a pretty scary guy, considering he's a prison inmate and all. So they say. They also say he'll cut you down if you talk too much. I knew he was gonna be bad news. All right, meeting a new prosecutor is always interesting because, like, all right, let's run down my opinion of the prosecutors, and I guess we'll also go through like the sort of opposition character because I guess I want to include Langji, or not Langji, Lang in there, just Lang. Langji is the guy that he quotes all the time, right? Because obviously Edgeworth starts off being pretty efficient prosecutor, pretty corrupt, but eventually, grows to be the best boy. Then Von Karma the First was absolutely fucking terrifying. He could not even, he absolutely, that's the only time in this games where I felt prosecutors actually properly dominated the courtroom and just wouldn't let you get a word in edgewise. So I think Von Karma is easily the most intimidating prosecutor in that regard. Easily the best at his job. Then Franziska was terrible. She's just okay. She's not terrible, okay? Even though I just said that. Even though I just said those exact words. She's all right. She's nowhere near as good as Edgeworth, but she's okay. My biggest issue with Franziska is that on top of her being a mediocre prosecutor, she just doesn't actually get any kind of character arc in the game. She's just a stationary character. Oh, I guess I should also talk about the Payne brothers. The Payne brothers are alright. They're bumbling idiots, but they're meant for that, and they're funny. Gatto is atrocious. I'm pretty sure he's actually a worse prosecutor than the Payne brothers. I do not ever want to face him in a court ever again, but he is a fantastic character. Lang, I think Lang was alright. I think he's kind of an idiot, but he means well, and he did have his moment towards the end, so I think I like Lang more than Franziska, I would say. And then yeah, I think it's tough for me to choose. And then Gavin, I think, is just fantastic, and he's Gavin is the only prosecutor in the game that is never a villain. Because, like, Edgeworth is a villain, but then turns into, gets a redemption arc. Franziska is just a villain. Von Karma is just a villain. Gatto is just a villain. Clavier is basically the only one that, like, from day one, like, he's, like, generally pretty respectful. He doesn't attempt any underhanded tactics to win, and he legitimately, like, the whole character arc that Edgeworth had about, not caring about the guilty verdict, only caring about, finding the truth. Gavin just shows up and, like, on his first case with Apollo, he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna, I only care about getting the culprit found guilty. I don't actually care about winning. Like, I love Gavin so much. Yeah, Gavin is great. I think, like, skill-wise, I would say Edgeworth and Big Daddy Von Karma are still better prosecutors, but I think Gavin definitely takes the cake overall, because he just, not only is he an actual competent prosecutor, like, from day one, he's prosecuting with, like, actual, like, good intentions, and he's not using, like, any underhanded methods or anything. Like, he's just a good boy, I saw Clavier as a Prosecutor Phoenix for some reason. I can see that, kinda. Though a bit less floundery, I suppose. I knew he was gonna be bad news. That's probably just hyperbole. At least I hope, for your sake. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how Blackquill stacks up against the other ones, because I mean they're hyping him up, but they also hyped up Gatto, and that was Jesus. Wait, so is it true or not? Let's just say you should be concise and choose your words carefully. If you'd like to keep that head of yours attached to the rest of your body, that is. Yikes. Gotta tone down my cords of steel, too. So, are you all ready? Might be a good idea to check the court record again before stepping into the ring. Right, Mr. Wright, but I'm fine! I'll be watching from the gallery. Good luck. Thanks! Okay, let's do this. The odds of pulling this off are ridiculously low, but that's nothing new. Believe in our client, seek the truth. That's all we can do. Hang in there, Mayor Tenma. Here comes justice! Yeah, boy! I like dunking on Gatto every chance we get. He sucks! I love his character. He's one of my favorite characters in the series, but he's such a bad prosecutor. Day 1. Court is now in session. All rise.
Court is now in session for the trial of Damien Tenma.
Apollo Justice, defense team leader, ready, Your Honor.
I'd know that big booming voice anywhere. As chipper as ever, eh, Mr. Justice? But who is the young lady next to you?
I'm Athena Sykes, Mr. Justice's junior partner, and fresh out of law school.
Well now, full of beans, too. Excellent, excellent. Make an old man feel young again. Now for the prosecution. It appears the prosecution is not ready yet.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. The Payne brothers are absolutely, without a doubt, better prosecutors than Gatto is.
Never fear, for I shall explain. It's no procedural. It's just a minor procedural complication, Your Honor. The prosecution for this case is being escorted from prison as we speak. Prison? Oh yes, of course. I almost forgot that he is currently serving time.
Oh my. Oh, is that? Oh my god, he's huge!
Blackwill's an inmate.
That's a lot of blood. What did he kill? An elephant?
But even a convicted murderer still got a job to do and duties to perform.
I mean... Oh, he looks so cool. I mean, hey, prison inmates do jobs all the time. Why can't they prosecute, you know? Considering the level that the prosecution in this country is at, with the Payne brothers and Gatto, and like 12-year-olds prosecuting and shit, like, I don't know, convict, if he's good at his job, I guess. I mean, this country is clearly has a massive demand of competent prosecutors, so I can't fault them for literally taking anything they can get. Who's that, with his, back over us, over there? That's him, I'm sure of it. Prosecutor Blackquill.
Is the prosecution ready?
Enough jabbering. Get on with it already.
Of course! Forgive me!
Why are all the people related to this case so scary? Why couldn't I get Clammy? Where's Clammy?
What's the matter?
Where's Clavier? Oh, best buddy, please come back.
Let's get having your opening statement, if you please.
Filch is scary. Payne never lost a case in 7 years. Well, to be fair, the prosecution in this country is also incredibly corrupt.
Must we continue to fritter away time like this? It is all right there in the indictment. An opening statement would be pointless.
Pointless? Oh! Well...
Looks like the cat, or in this case the prosecutor, has the judge's tongue.
But we need an opening statement as an overview of the case at hand!
Well then, your baldness. If it's so very important, why don't you do the honors?
Who? Me?
There's a term for people who whine and fuss about how they need silly, useless things. And then decide they no longer want them once it's theirs. The selfish old fool.
Huh?
Wait, was that the prosecution's opening statement? Oh no. Well, I don't think Payne was corrupt. I just think that, like, in the Ace Attorney universe, the prosecution has infinite, like, advantages over the defense. Like, the entire legal system is just, very clearly skewed towards the prosecution. Actually, speaking of the legal system, where did the juris system go? That was like a pretty big plot point in Apollo Justice. Did that ever get passed?
Old dotards such as you are a plague upon the young. I pity your poor grandchildren. Or is it great-grandchildren?
I did not say this! And all these years, I thought the opening statement was the prosecution's. Bro, just shut up.
Your life is nothing. You serve zero purpose. You should kill yourself now and give somebody else a piece of that oxygen so that we can breathe in this ozone layer. So we can breathe into this blue trap bubble. Because why are you here? To worship me? Kill yourself.
Like, what? Low tier prosecutor? What the fuck is happening?
But I suppose I could give it a try. It might be a nice change of pace.
A lot of people didn't like AJ, so jury system is gone and no in-game explanation. I mean, I suppose it was a trial run, so I guess like it could have just the law could have just not gotten passed, I suppose. What? He actually fell for that? That must have been the power of suggestion Mr. Rhett was talking about.
The opening statement. Well, let's see here. The victim was one Rex Cubey, alderman of Nine Tails Vale, and the defendant, Damien Tenma, mayor of Tenmatown, is accused of his murder.
And why, pray tell, was the mayor arrested?
His prints were on the murder weapon. Plus, he had a motive. The elimination of the biggest roadblock to the municipal murder. The caretaker and the secretary, other potential suspects, both have alibis. And his daughter, who was also in the vicinity at the time of the incident, has no motive.
So in a nutshell,
I'd have to say the charges against the defendants are incontrovertible.
No, what are you talking about?
bravo, your baldness. Your years of experience shine bright like your head.
Ho ho ho! Flattery will get you everywhere.
Oh. He's playing Simon Says with the judge. Do we have any information on Blackquill? What? Simon? Ah, he's playing Simon Says with the judge. Okay. Prosecutor and president is asked to the use of psychological manipulation in courtroom battles. Am I the only one that thinks the judge giving an open statement is a bit more fair than the prosecutor giving it, but not the defense? Well, considering he was also literally just arguing the prosecution's case, I don't think it was much better.
Moving right along now, let's hear from our first witness for today, Detective Fulbright. Witness, please state your name and occupation.
I'm the detective assigned to this case, Bobby Fulbright. Oh, I'll be keeping tabs on old Blackquill here.
I also heard you'd provide protection if it ever came to that.
It would seem that I have been sorely underestimated.
Nice! Wait! Who's protecting who from what? Apollo is questioning all his life choices right now. Yep, I should have just... I should have just let Mr. Gavin get away with all those murders and just stayed at his law firm. Then this would never have happened.
Yeah, still, I truly believe anyone can turn their life around, even a Blackquill here.
Fulbright, save your platitudes for funerals. Get on with your statement.
Hurt the spirit! And justice must be swift and true. I see it in your eyes. There's hope for your rehabilitation and return to society.
What is he fucking... Is this Persona 5?
I'll never give up on you.
Okay, I like Fulbright. He's no Emma, but I do like Fulbright. Prosecutor Blackquill doesn't seem to intimidate Detective Fulbright. Well, you know what they say. Ignorance is bliss. Oh, so that's why Detective Fulbright was assigned to Blackquill. He's so oblivious.
No, let's have your first statement, Detective Fulbright.
Got it! Yeah, but first I'd like to say to the defense that justice will ultimately prevail.
Oh, it will. Justice will prevail! That is a true statement!
Alderman Cuby was murdered with his spear that had been on a wall. The fingerprints of the defendant, David Denmo, were found on the murder weapon. At the time, Alderman Cuby was asleep from all the drugs he unwittingly ingested. Mayor Denmo decked his helpless victim, impaling him like a human shish kebab. But the sudden bang jolted the victim awake, and he grabbed a statue and struck back.
Alderman Cuby had been slipped some kind of sleep-inducing drug.
That's right! The accused was scared because the alderman was a former pro wrestler. So he slipped him a drug to make sure he'd be out cold and defenseless. Here's the autopsy report to prove it.
Out of the spear, estimated time of death around 3:20 p.m. The victim had been drugged into slumber. Yeah, so obviously, Filch was watching the wrestling match at the time of the death.
And the victim managed to attack his attacker, despite being impaled by a spear?
Are there any more details? No, that's a concise autopsy report. Hopefully it won't get updated.
That sounds almost superhuman. Is it even possible?
Oh, well, he was a former pro wrestler after all. That spear was probably nothing more than a mosquito bite to him.
Not so fast. Don't try to brush it all off by saying the alderman had been a pro wrestler. Do you really expect us to believe we could fight back after being skewered by a spear?
Never heard of the incredible feats of which a man is capable of in a pinch, have you? Like the samurai of yore, wrestlers can battle through intense pain. It sharpens their senses. I used to talk about it with a former wrestler I met in the clink.
I don't know. It still sounds a little far-fetched.
Does it now? Then perhaps we should test the theory on you with the edge of my blade.
I didn't sign up for that! Bro, what is that face?
So her life is spared. For now.
Please let those shackles be made of titanium! I don't want to die!
My investigations are thorough, they are foolproof. Or my name isn't Fulbright. I vow to resign immediately if I ever make a false arrest.
Alright, I guess Fulbright's only gonna be around for a single case then. Nice knowing you, buddy.
The accused prints are on the weapon, and he's the one person without an alibi. Quite decisive evidence. Wouldn't you agree, Your Baldness?
The defendant is sounding guiltier by the minute.
He has the judge leaning towards a guilty verdict, and the trial's just barely begun.
What's more, a curious rumor about the accused is making the rounds. They say he seeks the merger of for the purpose of freeing Tenmataro from his imprisonment. Truth be told, I can think of no real reason to show interest in that backwards burg. Perhaps he's a complete nutter and really does seek to release an imaginary demon. Either way, he is raving mad and more than capable of murdering the alderman.
My marriage is strange, but all right.
I already went to a blood drive, but instead of donating, he tried to make a withdrawal. What the fuck?
Order! There will be no gossiping in my court.
Your Baldness, please take a gander at those charms plastered across his cranium. I hear they're meant to keep him safe from possession by the demon Tenmataro. Then again... perhaps he's already under the demon's spell. Behold, The lunatic appears poised to lunge at you at any moment.
What? Why is he now doing the fucking...
A dubious little defendant getting up to mischief. Ugh, very icky. No good. The beast is demonic in nature. Very icky. No good.
The rumors and quirks of Mayor Tenma have no relevance to this case. And besides, those charms on his head, they're just a fashion statement. I think.
Yeah, come to think of it, such things don't seem relevant to the case, do they?
The prosecution will refrain from dragging our client's reputation through the mud.
Oh, what a dreadfully fearsome lass we have here.
Thanks, Sarandon. Oh, thanks for that lifeline, Athena. Careful, Apollo. He has the judge dancing in the palm of his hand. Power suggestion is one of the most powerful tools in Simon Blackwill's arsenal. He's trying to manipulate everyone's impression to suit his job objectives. This guy really is bad news.
In any case, it seems the victim didn't manage to defend himself, despite being impaled. What sort of weapon did he use against his attacker?
I know this statue right here.
It appears to be a statue of two strange creatures locked in battle.
Two yokai to be exact. On one side is the nine-tailed fox, and on the other, Tenmataro. Quite interesting if you think about it. It's as though the very case were rendered in art.
It kind of is.
Mr. Justice, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
Alright. About the murder. Unrecognized accused murder of a spear have been on the wall.
Hold it!
So, those weapons on the wall of the Fox Chamber, I presume those are real. Don't you think keeping real weapons around like that is rather dangerous?
No matter what he collected, the Alderman insisted it to be the real deal. For instance, he had a real demon's club in his possession. Apparently one of his ancestors claimed it after defeating a demon in battle.
What? Well, it's gotta be an old wives' tale.
Yeah, the Alderman had a pure, unadulterated justice flowing through his veins. Whatever he did it right. We lost the real champion of justice in his death.
Nothing but claptrap and balderdash, if you ask me. Now stop your bleeding and tell us about the weapon.
Your wish is my command. Fingerprints of the defendant, Damien Tenma, were found on a murder weapon.
So yeah, tell me more about that.
Hold it!
It doesn't make sense if you think about it. Prince could be easily wiped off.
Yeah, you do have a point there.
I'd venture to say, he did not wipe off the prince because he could not.
What do you mean? Looks like he wants you to figure it out. Well, don't just stand there. Show him who's boss. I'm totally lost. So, why don't you just tell me the answer already? I don't think he saw that plea for help.
Hey, you feeling alright, kid? Running fever, perhaps?
I wish trials came with a reset button.
Well, the specifics may yet come to light. Please proceed, Detective Fulbright.
Sleep from a drug he unwittingly ingested.
Hold it!
Come to think of it, a coffee cup was found on the floor. Was the sedative in his coffee?
Bingo! We found traces of a sleeping agent all over the inside of the cup.
And that is why he was out cold. That is, until he leapt to his feet upon being impaled by the mayor.
What an awful way to wake up.
Another stimulating eye-opener, if you ask me. I too would have risen to the attack, for to die in battle is the samurai way. Paradise awaits fallen heroes, but a hole in his stomach could make eating a challenge.
Prosecutor Blackquill, please! Those morbid jokes of yours have no place in this court!
Says the jester in detective's guise.
Moving right along!
Blackwell has no fucking chill. My god. Human shish kebab.
Hold it!
So the alderman was drugged because he was really strong?
Hey, do you see those rock-hard muscles of his? I'm surprised the spirit managed to pierce that armor like musculature. I admit, I'm completely jealous of that righteous body of his.
Well, he did look pretty buff, even that suit he had on.
Quite a difference when compared to a yellow belly like you.
Yellow belly? Who even says that anymore? Yeah, and the color's all wrong, too. Oh, I know. How about a squishy red tomato? I move to strike both of your comments from the record.
Mr. Justice's character is not the issue here. Now let's get back to what happened after a far more muscular alderman was impaled. Yeah, well, your average person would likely have died on the spot.
I jolted the victim awake and grabbed a statue and struck back.
Hold it!
Could he really have attacked his attacker after being impaled with a huge spear?
Absolutely! After all, he was once a pro wrestler. The injustice of being drugged and spared was answered with a righteous counterattack.
But does being a former pro wrestler make him superhuman?
Absolutely! After all, he was one of those good guys, like a superhero on the side of justice. Even though he was retired, he could still done his superhero guys in times of need.
Objection!
You need to lay off the comic books, detective. We're talking about real life here.
Setting aside the half-wit's flights of fancy, the fact is this. The court ordered post-mortem and concluded the victim moved after a skewering.
So he found the strength to somehow attack his attacker, huh? Detective Fulbright's testimony sounds airtight. No wonder he's so confident. Does that would mean... Because we know LaBelle did it. I mean, I guess if Alderman did hit LaBelle, he could always be hiding it with makeup. No, he only thinks it's airtight. It's up to us to poke some holes in it. That part about the Alderman fighting back sounds like a big hole waiting to be poked.
Hold it!
No, I did not mean to do that. Why am I so tired today? Well, I mean, I know why I'm so tired. It's because I got like almost no sleep last week. Doesn't matter. Lumber. Sleep from a drug he unwittingly ingested. Every time I attacked this helpless victim, impaling him like a shish kebab. Sudden pain jolted the victim awake, and he grabbed a statue, struck back. Why? Just work. Soul document showing what Tematar looks like. It seems like foolishly chose to depict the demon. Flower, pricing diagram. Used to bludgeon the mayor. The mayor's blood was found, but no prints could be lifted. Ah, no prints could be lifted. And yeah, very clearly, yeah, the alderman was not wearing gloves, so there's no prints on the statue.
Objection!
Did the alderman really strike the mayor?
What? Now you're questioning my sense of justice.
Your so-called justice needs to find itself a pair of legs to stand on. You claim the alderman struck back after the mayor put a spear through him. The statue he supposedly used to defend himself creates a major hole in your theory.
It would appear the defense is a counter-argument. Never seen this one before. Very well, let's hear what the defense thinks is odd about the detective statue.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. That's exactly the issue. There are no fingerprints on this supposedly crucial piece of evidence. If you look at the crime scene photo, you'll notice the alderman isn't wearing gloves.
Yes, I believe he is quite gloveless indeed.
If he touched the statue with his bare hands, he would have left some fingerprints. Detective Fulbright, you did take that into account during your investigation, did you not?
Ah, that can't be happening. Did I arrest the wrong man?
I like that he's genuinely concerned. You did it, Apollo. You knocked Detective Fulbright off his high horse. Well, just 1 point in our favor. Well, who do you suppose clubbed the mayor if it wasn't the alderman? I mean, can't really see, but I'm pretty sure LaBelle wore gloves. But I don't remember. It could have been you. Well, if it wasn't the alderman, I mean, someone else must have clubbed the mayor. I mean, there was a third party there in the Fox chamber. Exactly. This could be the big break we've been looking for.
There does seem to be a hole in the prosecution's argument. Prosecutor Blackquill, would you care to respond to the defense's assertion?
The least you can do is look at me while being dismissive.
Your mind is as dull as an unhoned blade, Justice Dono.
Justice Dono? I've been watching too many samurai flicks.
It'll take far more than that to cut down Simon Blackquill. A whelp such as you has no hope against my superior swordmanship.
I love the fact that in the original Japanese, script, obviously Blacquill is probably Japanese, and so this is just like him being just obsessed with samurais. But the fact that he's fucking American in the English version just means that he's just a massive fucking weeb. So not only is he a chunibyo, but he's a fucking weeb as well. This is a trial, not a sword fight, Prosecutor Blackquill.
There's a perfectly good explanation for the lack of prints on the statue. You might recall the blood-stained cloth found at the scene of the crime. Well, it just so happens that blood was the mayor's.
So, what are you getting at?
Own your mind, boy. Why was there blood on that cloth? Solve that riddle and you should see the hole you found is but an illusion.
Are you saying he used the fucking... You're saying he used the cloth to wipe the prints from the statue? But why? Well, now let's see. What's that cloth used? Was it used? Yeah, to wrap up the statue. Maybe the alderman wrapped the statue in the cloth. In short, he wasn't touching the statue directly when he used to strike the mayor. That could also work. Ah!
Precisely. Bully for you, boy.
Aw, it was nothing. Apollo, don't let him start manipulating you, too! You just closed the hole for the prosecution. I did? Oh, I did.
Right. That a statue wrapped in cloth would leave no fingerprints is as plain as day.
Blackwell's my second favorite prosecutor rival behind Edgeworth. Hope you also like him. Interesting. Also, welcome, Fedor. His gimmicks make him a cool traditionalist in the Japanese version, a ridiculous weeb in the English version. Yeah, it's great. We'll have to see. Obviously, Edgeworth is my favorite, but we'll have to see how he stacks up against Gavin.
A statue wrapped in cloth would leave no fingerprints. It's as plain as day. This also proves there are no holes in our theory that the Ultimate strikes back.
Oops. Legend wrapped in a large cloth, 2 pages.
Now do you see how dull your mind is?
That just traces blood from the defendant. It apparently wrapped in a large cloth on which the defendant's blood was found. No fingerprints could be lifted. Oh! So then you've just delayed the inevitable, you fool. I'll make sure to sharpen it next time.
A particularly frightening inmate once told me that.
I think I think post character arc Edgeworth, after he's had his redemption arc, is a better prosecutor than Gavin. But I think as we see Edgeworth when we first start off the first game, I think Gavin is easily the best prosecutor.
A particularly frightening inmate once told me that. He always tenderly honed his blades before he went to work, like the samurai of yore.
A samurai? More like a homicidal maniac to me!
Actually, he was working in the prison kitchen at the time.
Wait, so the inmate was a murdering samurai prison chef? Why are the prosecutors allowed to insult anyone in court? Because the judge is just too much of a pussy to, like, push back on everything. That's also what I like about Gavin, is that, like, he's never actually just, like, outright an asshole. Like, he's kind of, like, jokingly mean to Apollo and calling him hair forehead, but, like, you can tell that he's very clearly just, like, it's very clearly just playful teasing, not him just straight up being a dick.
It seemed the victim and his killer were the only ones there after all.
I was kind of attached to that hole. Now what? Apollo, just the thought of something. Didn't find anyone's fingerprints on the statue. Who's to say someone other than the Alderman didn't hit the mayor with it? Why did I think of that? Anybody could have not left prints.
Then who, pray tell, struck the mayor with the statue? Please illuminate us with your wisdom, young lady.
There's only one answer. The real killer.
Prove the existence of this real killer, then. What evidence have you?
Oh, I'll give you evidence, all right. Athena, are you sure about this? That's why your words, Apollo. I'm fine. Take a look at this. Black feathers and tracks, allegedly from a yokai, were found at the scene. I believe they're from the third party who struck the mayor with the statue. Right, because even if it's not an actual, even if it wasn't actually Tenmatara, and it was just, someone in a disguise, then, they were still at the scene of the crime.
Is the defense actually suggesting some kind of monster killed the Alderman?
That's exactly what I'm suggesting.
Objection!
No, Athena, you just lost what little credibility we had left. Apollo. Sorry, I guess I got carried away.
Mr. Justice, we've no time to deal with objections between members of the defense.
What is happening here? Oh, God. Sorry, Your Honor. It's just this kid's still, well, a kid. No, let her cook. Let her cook. Ouch. You meanie. I'm reporting this to Mr. Wright. Don't worry. Nah. He's kind of right.
So, is this court to believe the feathers and tracks are from a yokai, as you put it?
No, Your Honor. I believe they're a fabrication. The real killer wants us to believe some sort of monster murdered the Elderman.
Interesting. And why do you suppose the killer would do that?
Why indeed?
Mr. Justice, you seem as new to this as your partner.
Hey, put some respect on the man's name. This man has taken down, like, this man helped end one of, like, the biggest fucking criminal conspiracies in the country's history with, Christoph Gavin. Ouch! This I am not reporting to Mr. Right. Oh, don't worry, Apollo. I'm watching every second of it.
Fulbright. Explain to his baldness what these brats are missing. You know, who and why behind those feathers and tracks.
What? You mean you can explain all that?
Our investigative prowess is without equal.
I'm starting to think I chose the wrong profession. Yeah, he's a student of Phoenix and Kristoff, two of the most renowned defense attorneys ever in, like, recent history, I suppose.
Very well, let's hear about the so-called yokai feathers and tracks.
Feathers and tracks. It's a dark case centers on one man's attempt to crush opposition to the municipal merger. Their attempt was panicked when the amazing Nine Tails helped oppose the protesters. So he stoked the villagers' fears by fabricating a monster. The strange feathers and tracks he planted made it look like the yokai was the killer.
That's it? Oh my god, he's so stupid. I mean, like, you can even see the gallery. Like, look at her. She's like, did he just say that? Is he fucking stupid? This guy's like, really? Hers, like, they're all just looking like they're not impressed right now. Bro, he was knocked the fuck out. How did he plant some fucking feathers? This should be the second testimony, I think. Those feathers and tracks stoke the villagers' fear.
Absolutely! And know exactly how to fire their superstitious minds.
Those feathers only gave way to the idea the alderman was slain by a demon. The accursed demon Tenmataro, that is.
Tenma who?
Tenmataro, a legendary demon locked away in the village's forbidden chamber. From a young age, the villagers are taught to fear the great black feathered demon, and thus, they're blinded to other, more plausible explanations.
Oh, hold on for a second. Before we start letting our imaginations run wild, isn't there someone else that could be considered a suspect?
Mr. Justice, please explain yourself.
On the day of the incident, there was a special event held at QB Manor. And as part of the event, there was someone dressed in the likeness of Tenmataro. Obviously, this person is much more likely suspect than any legendary demon.
Objection!
Objection! Oh,
I think that's the first time we've heard his voice.
objection!
Dullard, you're playing right into the killer's mind games.
What?
Listen here, the feathers and tracks are merely red herrings. The villagers believe the murder to be the work of the real Tenmataro. However, the police believe that the person in Tenmataro's suit is the killer.
Ah!
The defendant sought to sow his confusion in order to deflect blame away from himself. However, he was knocked unconscious by the alderman, and thus our mentally deficient mayor was caught red-handed at the scene of the crime.
Objection!
So then how did he place the feathers, dumbass? Do you honestly believe Mayor Tenma would do something so stupid?
Objection!
Evidence speaks for itself, Fulbright. Fulbright?
Right, because, like... Yeah. Like, the only way that he could have actually set this up before... The only way he could have actually... This could actually work, if we're assuming that Tenma was the one that actually, like... set up the feathers and the footprints, is if it had happened before the murder. right? Because after the murder, he got knocked the fuck out. So it must have happened before the murder, while the alderman was knocked out. However, there's no blood on the feathers. The feathers, obviously, the fact that there's the bloody footprints must have happened after the murder took place, and the feathers are clearly laying on top of the blood, not covered in it, which means the feathers were placed there after the murder took place, meaning that it must have happened afterwards when Tenma was already knocked out. Not to mention your stupid fucking bitch-ass argument about the cloth wrapping up the statue. Bro, why is the cloth underneath a fucking chair?
The evidence speaks for itself, Fulbright.
Oh, it does. Just, it's not singing your tune.
Right! It was the mayor's last-ditch attempt to stop the opposition before things got crazy. The Amazing Nine Tails is fueling both the yokai craze and the anti-merger movement. Plus, he's one of the better-known masked wrestlers and a hometown favorite. That's why the mayor panicked and set out on the path of injustice.
But do the people of Nine Tails Vale really believe a yokai is behind the crime?
Yokai sightings are an everyday event there, so I would be surprised if they did.
I must say, a crime that preys upon innocent, impressionable minds.
Just so. A particular silver-tongued inmate once said the following words for me.
Oh god, please don't do the investigator long thing where you just quote random people.
The innocent of heart are the easiest prey.
You don't say! Was this inmate a con artist?
No. He was framed for the murder of his beloved. I actually felt sorry for the poor chap.
Wait, so he wasn't the predator, but rather the prey?
Yes, well, now then, the defense may proceed with their cross-examination.
Detective Fulbright, is the anti-merger movement really that strong?
Oh, absolutely! They parade around in yokai costumes shouting, "Down with Mayor Tenma!" And just the other day, they stormed Tenma City Hall, claiming it was a den of vipers.
But when the accused showed his face, the angry mob scattered like leaves upon the autumn wind. For you see, lowly yokai are no match for Tenmataro, dark lord of their kind.
Wait, are the villagers scared of Mayor Tenma or Tenmataro? I'm confused. I think he means Mayor Tenma. It's easy to get the wrong impression about the guy.
Take it Fulbright. What do you suppose the defendant to commit such an act?
His coding gimmick is a bit better than Lang's. I don't know. I like the presentation of Lang's, where he would just snap, then Sheena would just walk up, give him the scroll.
Langzi says!
Mayor Tenma panicked when the Amazing Nine Tails helped embolden the protesters.
The Amazing Nine Tails. But no one knows his true identity, right?
That's right. And he was a lone wolf. Or in other words, he didn't belong in a wrestling federation. He appeared like a shooting star, defeating one Tenma Town wrestler after another. And before anyone knew it, he was the champion.
Like the samurai of yore, surrounded thick with enemies, he cut them down one by one. As a complete and utter loss of face for Tenma Town pro wrestling.
It was amazing. If ever there was a real superhero, it would be him. I dream of becoming a true champion of justice like him someday.
I bet Detective Fulbright would be a great pro wrestler. He could even team up with Prosecutor Blackquill. He's a detective and a prisoner in chains. Oh, I think people would actually pay to see that. I know I would.
Ah ha ha! So you do understand the greatness that is the amazing Nine Tails!
Talk to villagers' fears before getting monster. Which they go contradict together made a comment about following the words of others to that question. Well, that's the thing. The game pretty much establishes that Inspector Lang is a fucking idiot. like this is just straight up like. Did the murder and yokai evidence really stoke the villagers' fears?
Absolutely! It had an immediate effect! The presumed return of the dreaded Tenmataro had them shaking in their boots!
Oh my, is it really that bad?
That superstitious lot. It's as if Jack the Ripper had been set loose in their village. The mere thought of that demon lurking about is enough to spark mass exodus.
I see.
Fuck, that was not the judge voice.
I see. That's a very persuasive argument.
The mere thought of His Honor buying into Simon the Psycho Slasher's words makes me want to spark my own exodus of the courtroom right about now.
So you see, that could be only one reason why anyone would plant those feathers and tricks.
But it doesn't add up. If what you say is true, why top it all off with murder?
What do you mean?
You claim that our client planted the yokai evidence to stoke the villagers' fears. If so, then why not stop there? Why murder Alderman QB?
Excellent point.
It is, isn't it? So, Your Honor agrees there was no reason for the murder, correct?
Objection!
Objection!
Perhaps the killing was on the spur of the moment.
Saying it wasn't premeditated.
From the outset, I had no intention of paying heed to any of your babble. However, the fact is, Mayor made a startling discovery.
Startling discovery? Why don't I like the sound of that?
Alderman QB's secret identity.
Apollo? I think Prosecutor Blackquill has figured out the Alderman's secret identity. But, even if he has, why would it be a motive for the mayor to commit murder? This is not good.
This patch of fur was discovered at the crime scene. It's from the mask worn by the amazing Nine Tails. Therefore, we can conclude that this mask was at the crime scene.
Oh my, but why would it have been there?
I will leave the theory to myself. All right, you can you can tell it to me after we're done with the game.
The victim was a former pro wrestler and a member of the anti-murder movement. Need I say more?
Well, could it really be?
Your boldness has had an epiphany, I see. Our victim, Rex Hubie, was the amazing Nine Tails.
And in one sentence, I almost said professor. Prosecutor Blackquill has demonstrated a higher level of deductive reasoning than Gatto ever did. Incredible stuff.
And the mayor's discovery of this fact was his motive for murder.
No!
Order! Order! What a shocking development! A motive clearer than crystal clear.
What do we do now, Apollo? I didn't think they'd tie the Alderman's secret identity to the mayor's motive for murder.
At last, you've reached my real point. Why did the Alderman have to forge a secret identity? Does it not pique your interest, your baldness?
I admit it does. It is odd that he had to create this other persona, just to secretly participate in the anti-murder movement.
Very astute of you, your baldness.
Right, now take a look at this.
Right, the blackmailer.
If you value your dearest life, you'll merge Ninetales Vale with Tenma Town. The blackmail letter was found in Alderman Cuby's pocket.
What?
At present, the Alderman's wife is in the hospital, and the letter is clear evidence the mayor is blackmailing him by threatening her life.
But wasn't the mayor also getting blackmailed? Wait, didn't the blackmail letter sent to Mayor Tenma go missing? Right after the alderman's murder? Ah, right. Tenma was the one being blackmailed. But then the killer is making it look like Tenma was blackmailing the alderman. I think maybe the killer took the letter from the mayor after the murder and planted it into the alderman's pocket? It's possible. We don't have any proof that that's what happened. Talk about being up the creek without a paddle. No, we haven't presented anything of them. We haven't presented the feathers yet.
Mayor Tenma would have made a clean getaway if he'd just left after planning the yokai things. But he was knocked out cold by a sudden decision to kill the Amazing Nine Tails. So it was the Amazing Nine Tails counterattack that brought the entire crime to light.
Wait a second. Fulbright's claiming the mayor killed the alderman after planting the yokai evidence. And the mayor was knocked out cold immediately after that? Detective Fulbright, please add your previous statement to your testimony.
Mayor Tenma killed the sleeping alderman after planting the feathers and tracks.
So, let me get this straight. You believe the mayor planted the yokai evidence before the murder, not after?
Absolutely! And when he was knocked out, caught by the alderman's last punch, he would have had a chance to plant he couldn't have had a chance to plant the evidence after that.
Something's not right here. I can't believe this stiff, humorless man like the mayor could be behind such a stunt. Ah, we have to do something, Apollo. Why they pin it all on the mayor? And we're gonna need to prove the mayor Tenma didn't plant the yokai stuff. How are we supposed to do that? That's pretty easy. Yeah, it's gotta be the crime scene photo.
Objection!
Yep. Detective Fulbright, your sense of justice is anything but fair.
What's this? You dare question my justice again?
Yes, and I'm gonna prove it to you. Take a look at this photo.
This is the crime scene photo. What does it prove?
It proves when the feathers and tracks were planted.
But I already told you, they were planted before the murder. The defendant planted the yokai evidence, then was knocked out while killing the victim.
But that would be impossible. Take a look right here. It's clear where the feathers and tracks were left on the scene. Yeah.
Take that!
The feathers on the blood.
Aren't you just pointing to the yokai feathers and tracks, Mr. Justice?
Yeah? See how the feathers are on top of the blood, and the tracks were made in blood? In other words, the yokai evidence could have only resulted after the murder. Why is Apollo insulting Fulbright's sense of justice after every time he objects? I guess he's just trying to, I guess he's trying to apply his own courtroom psychology.
The mayor must have planted the evidence after killing the alderman.
But you said it yourself. The mayor had been knocked unconscious thereafter. There would have been no time for him to plant any evidence at all. Therefore, there must have been someone else beside the mayor and the alderman at the crime scene.
There must be some mistake. Order! Where's your evidence? You can't possibly have any, can you?
Evidence? No, I have evidence. In fact, I have an eyewitness testimony for you.
You do?
But how?
Was my vaunted sense of justice really just have fate?
Oh, he's so sad! He's taking this really hard. Only I can be justice.
Mr. Justice, what is this testimony regarding a third party that you claim to have?
I have it right here, Your Honor. It's a sworn testimony of Mr. Tenma's daughter. The witness, Jinxie Tenma, saw a yokai in the hallway before stumbling upon the scene. It was the demon Tenma Taro. He's the source of those feathers and tracks. That ain't. Oh, why did it get so quiet in here all of a sudden? Will somebody please say something?
The defense will explain to the court exactly what he means.
Yeah, you dare mock the court and the justice itself. You're unfit to bear your name, boy.
Your boldness. It appears their defense attorney here is delirious from exhaustion.
That face is terrifying. Apollo! Think of something quick before you're held in contempt of court. What do you think I'm trying to do? Before you decide whether I should step down, please hear me out?
Very well, Mr. Justice, I'm all ears. But you better explain yourself as well. What was this yokai you were talking about?
It's all in the statement here. Jinxie Tenma asserts that she saw Tenma Taro after she discovered the crime scene and called the police. She came around the corner in the hall. It was around here. That's when she saw Tenma Taro fleeing towards the foyer. The defense asserts that whoever was impersonating this monster is the one who left those feathers and tracks behind, intentionally or otherwise.
What?
How incredibly unjust! Why haven't I heard about this before?
This defense has proved there was someone else.
So the mayor isn't a killer? Was it all set up? The prosecutor is a convicted felon after all. Apollo! The momentum has shifted in our favor. Good. Let's keep it that way.
Objection!
Objection! The defendant's daughter is a very reliable witness. I mean, if you can't prove that the testimony is testimony is testimony. At the end of the day, unless you can if Blackquill wants to call her if you're gonna call the testimony unreliable, you gotta do a cross-examination and find stuff that's actually wrong with it. I could say Fulbright's testimony is unreliable because he's fucking retarded, but you know.
Little do you realize that though you are in the midst of a fray, your sword is broken.
My sword? I didn't know I had one to break. Are you implying there's a problem with my claim?
Consider this. If the yokai impersonator had indeed fled towards the foyer, that fool, that fop would have seen him.
No, the fool was busy watching a busy watching a wrestling match. And LaBelle was the man in the suit. Fool and fop? Oh, you mean Filch and LaBelle. Now that you mention it.
Both Phineas Filch and Florent LaBelle were in the foyer at the time. But they haven't stated that they saw a yokai, have they? Did you ever consider that yokai was but a figment of a scared little girl's imagination?
Why didn't those two see the Tenma Taro impersonator pass by? Why don't we ask them ourselves? I was just about to say that myself. No, really, I was. The defense would like to call Mr. Phineas Filch, caretaker of QB Manor, to the stand. I just know he must have seen something.
I suppose we can't ignore the fact the little girl believes she saw a monster. I trust you have no objections to Mr. Justice's request, Prosecutor Blackquill. I understand that Mr. Filch is enjoying a nap out in the lobby.
I knew that Tanuki was a rare find, but when we captured him, I didn't think he'd end up a witness. Do with him as you will.
Did he just say captured? Oh, wait. I don't want to know. The judge has no idea who they're talking about.
Very well, bailiff. Please go wake Mr. Felch and escort him to the witness stand. Will the witness state his name and occupation, please?
Fuck, what was my Phineas Filch voice? I need to remember. Hold on. Let me pull up the last episode. Channel. Filch. I mean, QB did used to be a pro. Maybe the wrestler. Amazing Ninetales has been murdered? In a sense, I think he was. The Amazing Ninetales. Then.
You're a student. You really want to know, huh? You're a studious one, ain't ya?
Okay.
And the name's Phineas. The name's Filch. Phineas Filch, caretaker of QB Manor. Oh, and this is for you, your lordship. Just a little something I thought you might like.
Oh my, what a fabulous pair of shoes! And your honor will do just fine, Mr. Felch.
It's those shoes again. Don't they belong to Detective Fulbright? Don't tell me Filch stole them again.
They're all yours, your honorship, sir.
What? But they seem awfully expensive.
Yep, too expensive for me, but I reckon that'd be perfect for someone like your honorship.
It's a kind gesture, but legal ethics dictate I can't accept such gifts.
Oh, that's where you draw the fucking line.
Aw, ethics schmethics. Just take them if you want them. Polished them up real nice for you, too.
I'm sorry about the shoes, Mr. Filch, but I will accept your testimony. The court would like to hear whether you saw Tenmataru in the foyer after the murder. I need water.
Guarding the foyer.
At the time of the murder, I was on guard duty in the foyer, just like Mr. QB asked. I was making sure no one, fair, foul, fishy, or otherwise, could get to our guest.
Bribery.
Yeah, still in my office keeping a good watch where the murder happened at 3 p.m. I didn't see nothing out of the ordinary. No, sirree.
Busy watching the fucking wrestling match on the TV.
That yokai you keep blabbering on about was but a phantom of a little girl's dreams.
So, you're telling this court you never saw anyone dressed up like Tenmataru?
Yeah, I was guarding the whole time. That's the truth, the holy truth, and none but the truth. And Tenmataru, you don't really believe in all that yokai mumbo jumbo, do ya? I certainly don't.
Oh, we are so back, baby. My bracelet. It's something the matter, Apollo? My bracelet keeps squeezing my arm. Really? So, do you think Mr. Filch has been lying to us? I wouldn't rule it out. Now, if I could just zero in on a tell. Some sort of nervous habit. Ah! What in the... What's a hawk doing in here?
Allow me to introduce my trusty cohort, Taka. He seems to have taken quite a liking to the courthouse. Made it his new home, in fact.
He doesn't live with you? You know, in jail? Who's ever heard of a courthouse bird?
Taka simply loathes trickery and fraud, and that queer power of yours seems to have offended my dear bosom buzzard.
It isn't some sort of trick or... Ah! I won't be able to spot squat like this!
What the heck's going on around here? Run for the hills!
No pets or animals allowed in the courtroom.
Ah! Someone help!
Oh, he's merely having a bit of sport. He won't harm you, save him truly famished.
In that case, Prosecutor Blackquill, you will ensure your feathered friend is properly fed.
Oh, looks like we have to do this the old-fashioned way. We'll be fine, I think. If there's someone dressed as Tenmataro there, Filch would have seen him. We just have to put our faith in Jinxie's statement for now. Why is he just on his head?
Mr. Justice, please proceed with your cross-examination.
I can't believe we're getting fucking cock-blocked by a bird from our fucking from our perception power. God damn it.
At the time of the murder, I was on guard duty in the foyer, just like Mr. QB asked.
Mr. Filch, why did Alderman QB have you handle guard duty?
Guess he trusts me. I am the manor's caretaker after all.
So, you took said guard duty seriously.
Well, let me tell you something about me. I'm... Yikes!
Listen here, you little tanuki. Get straight to the point and be quick about it. The court wishes to hear what you did or didn't see in the foyer, and not else.
Yes, of course, sir. Right away, sir.
Blackwell's got him completely under his thumb.
And like I said, I was guarding the foyer entrance that day. I was making sure no unfair, foul, fishy, or otherwise get to our guest.
Because it's cheating, according to Blackquill. You know what I call cheating? It's having a fucking attack bird fucking try to claw out the prosecution's eyes. So no one could get to him. Sounds like security was pretty tight.
And that's because there's always lots of sneaks and thieves around festival time.
And the solution was to entrust the manor's security to a thief. That's not even funny. Maybe it's a matter of stopping thieves by hiring one. After all, it takes one to know one. I don't know. Seems more like letting the fox guard the hen house to me.
So the witness testifies that he took his guard duty seriously.
Yes, sir. Your ownership, sir.
But Moon Matrix is allowed. Good watch when the murder happened at 3 p.m. Did you really keep an eye on the foyer the entire time?
Yeah, poor old Filchy. He's been working hard my whole life. Only to be smeared by some greenhorn in his fancy schmancy suit and silly haircut. Ah, sorry, Mr. Blackquill, sir. I didn't mean to get off subject there.
Sheesh. Blackwell didn't even say anything.
And to answer your question, yes, I kept an eye. No, but both of them, in fact, on the Hoyer. I see nothing out of the ordinary. No, sirree.
Could you describe the court who you would consider fishy looking?
Someone all fidgety and shifty like. Like they're about to steal something.
He just described himself. I wonder why Mr. Filch didn't see Tenmataro. Maybe Jinx only thinks she saw Tenmataro, or maybe Mr. Filch is lying? And if he's lying, we might be able to spot a contradiction in his testimony. Alright. That's fine. Fair how fishy or otherwise, did get to our guest. 3. I feel like it might be a bit too early to present the TV listings. Yeah, I feel like it either has to be Jinxie's statement on the last one or the TV listings on this one. Let's try Jinxie's statement first.
Objection!
No. Consider the evidence. There's absolutely something wrong with that statement.
Your gall knows no bounds. It's shocking, really.
What's that supposed to mean?
You stand there brazenly objecting to perfectly factual statements. One does not see such shameless behavior that often.
A penalty for our shameless attorney.
Oh no. Looks like Blackquill is turning the judge against me. In that case, let's try the TV listing.
Objection!
Yeah, okay. Don't lie to the court like that, Mr. Filch.
Hey, it's alright to bushwhack. It ain't right to bushwhack a fellow like that.
Unfortunately for you, I have evidence that proves you're lying. You look at this TV listing here, you'll see that at the time of the crime, there was a pro wrestling match scheduled. Something you'd never miss.
I didn't watch that one. No, sirree. I was doing my job just like I was supposed to.
This guy doesn't know when to give up. Mr. Filch, someone even circled the match. It was you, right?
Yipes!
Not only that, you even told me you watched it. You said, and I quote, "It was a complete disaster."
Huh?
So, do you admit to slacking off?
You can't trick me with your Rudy Poo lawyer talk. I'm one of them professional types, too. I can do double duty, watching TV and the foyer at the same time.
Only thing Filch can claim to be a professional of is professional thief.
Mr. Justice, you would have this court believe the witness was slacking off.
Well, is using hearsay as evidence? I mean, not really. That's just, he's just presenting the testimony that he got from, Filch the day before. That's correct. He claims to have been watching TV at the foyer at the same time. But that's nothing but a bald-faced lie.
Oh, you say? I'm not the one who's lying. Perhaps you meant the witness, Mr. Justice. In that case, let's see what evidence you could offer. You claim Mr. Filch is lying about watching TV in the foyer simultaneously. Now prove it.
Yeah, you just can't do it.
Take that!
Please take a look at the direction the TV is facing in this diagram. Now, unless Mr. Filch's eyes where his right ear should be, I think it would be impossible to watch the foyer entrance and TV at the same time.
Why, yes, someone watching TV there couldn't possibly see the entrance.
Exactly. That means Mr. Filch, you were slacking off and were not watching the foyer as you claim.
Yipes! Yeah, bags out of the cat. Or, I mean the other way around?
Order, order, order! But, Mr. Justice, is Mr. Filch less than stellar work ethic relevant to the case?
It's very relevant because he was slacking off watching TV. There really could have been a Tenmataro impersonator in the foyer.
Objection!
What now?
Granted, this Tanuki was lax in his duties, but he still had the foyer entrance covered.
What are you talking about? The security camera.
This.
I'm not a mind reader.
auditory sense. His eyes may have been slacking off, but his ears are still hard at work. Right, Tanuki?
They were? Yes, they were.
You already admitted to slacking off, and you say you weren't.
My eyes may be lazy, but my ears ain't. I would have heard anyone in the foyer. You see, the foyer door is stairway, get all creaky squeaky when someone walks on them. Creak, creak, creak. Not enough to wake the dead, I reckon.
So, you're saying you didn't hear anybody walk by?
Yep, my ears working full time, so who's the liar now, you no good shyster?
Why you keep calling me a shyster? This has to be the low point of my fledgling career.
Gotta hand it to you, Mr. Blackquill, sir. There really are something else. I mean, you don't miss a thing. And them bags under your eyes, they're darker than mine.
Fair warning, Mr. Filch. Doc is particularly fond of Tanuki. Should you lie to the court again, you may suddenly find yourself on the menu.
Yipes! Please don't eat me, Mr. Taka, sir.
The witness will henceforth justify truthfully under penalty of painful burn attacks. And with that in mind, the court requests the witness revise his testimony accordingly.
Ears working overtime.
It's true. I was watching pro wrestling match on my office TV. My eyes might have been slacking out, but my ears, they were working overtime. Yeah, the floor there's all squeaky like. No way I would have missed someone walking by. So you see, there weren't no Demetaro in the foyer.
Superstition is the religion of feeble minds. Understand? A simple, rational explanation is best. Forget yokai, demons, and such. We must use common sense, for lacking that, our entire world would be upside down.
Says the convict prosecutor is totally a sign of the end times for the legal world!
And besides, there was any yokai roaming about, I'd never have sent him to the zoo.
I wonder whether Jinxie was just seeing things. That seems to be the general consensus, but I'm sticking to my guns. But what if we can't prove she saw Tenmataro? The mayor's sure to be convicted. And we better hope my guns fire bullets, not BBs.
The defense may cross-examine the witness.
Alright, let's have a look. Jim, I'm watching pro wrestling match on the office TV.
Hold it.
You are paid for your work, aren't you? So how do you justify watching TV on the job?
But it ain't easy being me. I mean, I can't watch TV when we have visitors, and there's no way to record stuff.
Sorry, am I supposed to be consoling you over your first world problems? If those are his only problems, he should consider himself lucky. I guess pro wrestling's serious business to Mr. Filch. I just might have been slacking up, but my ears, they were working overtime. You lied earlier about taking your guard duty seriously, didn't you?
Oh, that ain't no harm in bending the truth a little, right?
Listen to me, you little Tanuki. Lie again, and Taka shall feast upon that forked tongue of yours.
Yipes! Sorry, just, let me keep my tongue.
At least leave it until we get the truth out of him in any case.
You were negligent in your duties, were you not?
Yes, sir, I was, sir, but it ain't like that.
The floor there's all creaky squeaky like. No way I would have missed someone walking by. So, you have pretty good ears, Mr. Filch.
As good as they come, I'd say. Ain't nothing to hear a creaky floor.
Oh, my controller just died. Hold on.
Plus, that damn Mataro makes a sound
When he goes by.
It's like a jingle jangle. I got spurs that jingle, 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 jingle. You know that song from Fallout New Vegas? Yeah, like that one.
Jingle jangle? How does he do that?
It's that staff of his.
Ah, yes. In the that was mentioned in the testimony, right? Staff like implement that jingled. Yep.
The jingle jangles.
What's he talking about, Apollo? That beats me, but I guess Tenmataro has a staff that makes noise? I come to think of it, didn't Jinxie mention something like that too? He said she saw Tenmataro holding a staff-like object to make the jangly sound. I guess that's the source of the noise then.
Well, Mr. Justice, Mr. Filch, Timataro jingle jangles. Would you consider that vital information? Sure.
Extremely vital. I request it be added to his testimony. I forgot jingle jangle.
Hold it!
So Tenmataro's staff makes a distinctive sound.
Yep, like a jingle and a tangle.
Wait, Jinxie said something like that. Something about Tenmataro making a jangly sound. I think we're missing something here. Can't quite put a finger on it. Perhaps we should take a look at the court record again. Yeah, obviously. You see, there weren't no Tenmataro in the foyer.
Hold it!
Please tell the court, what did Jinxie see if it was not Tenmataro?
Yeah, she's always going on about seeing this yokai or that. She has an active imagination, I reckon. It won't even come near me because she thinks I'm some sort of tanuki monster.
I can't say I blame her. So, Mr. Filch, you chalk it up to a child's active imagination.
Yep, no Tenmataro or anyone else got in a QB manner on my watch.
Apollo, what could this mean? You think Jinxie was just seeing things? Well, if that's the case, the details she provided were pretty impressive. But if we're to continue believing Jinxie's statement, we'll have to uncover Mr. Filch's lie. Right, or find out why he can't tell us the truth. Yeah, he doesn't have the staff in here. Or either here or here. I see. So the natural conclusion here is that he's just hung himself on his own petard. Because Tenmataro doesn't actually have a staff. But for some reason, the person who was in the Tenmataro outfit was carrying a jingly staff, despite the fact that Tenmataro doesn't traditionally have one. Ergo, the only way for Filch to make the connection between Tenmataro and the staff is if he had actually seen Tenmataro with the staff, which means he must have seen the Tenmataro, or at least heard him, in the foyer. And he's just fucking lying, because Tenmataro doesn't have a staff.
Objection!
Tenmataro's staff would make a jangly sound, you say? Which then begs the bigger question. Where did the staff come from? It obviously must have come from either the Fox Chamber or the Forbidden Chamber, because that's where, like, you know. But then when we see Tenmataro here, at 340, he doesn't have the staff anymore. So I wonder what LaBelle wanted the staff for. I don't think we have enough information for now. Well, I'm gonna say that your story doesn't add up.
Is there something the defense would like to share with the court?
Mr. Filch, you say you didn't see Tenmataro on the day of the incident. Then why did you assume just now that Tenmataro would be holding a staff? Huh? You see, Tenmataro Jinxie saw held the staff in his hands. She described its sound just like you did. A kind of jangly sound.
Yeah, so he was holding a staff. What's your point?
The point is Tenmataro doesn't use a staff. Not normally.
What are you talking about?
You see, this is the only known document depicting Tenmataro. Is there a staff in that picture, Mr. Filch?
You're right. There's no staff. Not even a cane or a walking stick.
Ah!
So the question is, why does the witness think Tenmataro uses a staff?
I believe the answer will overturn the prosecution's case on the most basic level.
Well, now, this is getting interesting.
All right, Mr. Justice. It's time to show the court where you're going with this. Please tell the court why Mr. Filch believes Tenmataro carries the staff.
Scatterbrain. Yeah, he actually saw Tenmataro. Mr. Filch actually saw Tenmataro right after the crime occurred. That's the only way he could possibly know about the staff.
Busted again!
Bloody hell! You duplicitous little...
Yeah, how's that feel, Blackquill? Not so fun when you're on the receiving end of the blade, is it? Admit it, Mr. Filch. You did see Tenmataro that day, didn't you? Well...
I'm begging you, please don't make me say it!
But clearly you did say Tenmataro. Stop stalling and testify to that fact.
No can do, no way, no how! You ain't got no idea how terrifying he can be!
Mr. Filch still won't admit to seeing Tenmataro, even though everyone knows he did. Yeah, because he's scared of LaBelle. Question now is why? Mr. Filch is scared to death. Is that why you can't admit the truth? Well, come to think of it.
Say, must not gaze upon Tenmataro, but in the event that you do look, and then tell anyone what you saw, that Tenmataro will claim your soul.
TC would admit to seeing Tenmataro after hearing about the village superstitions. I guess maybe, yeah. He said that if he told anyone that she had seen Tenmataro, he'd claim her soul. You don't think Filch believes that, too?
Yeah. So Mr. Big Time City Slicker Lawyer has heard about him. Them old village superstitions.
Will the defense please explain what the witness is talking about?
The people of Ninetails Vale believe some pretty strange things. Their superstitions may be the reason our witness here can't admit the truth. The truth that he really did see Tenmataro.
Straight, that's why. All right here.
Do not gaze upon Tenmataro. Not tell others if you do. No one superstition will cost you your soul. There is, however, one way to save it. Immediate departure from the village. Freeing him will bring ruin upon the village. Cool. Ignoring the superstitions will cost you your soul.
See, that's how us fucking Ninetails Vale can't talk about seeing Tenmataro.
Should add it to the court record. Well, it clears up one mystery. The killer took advantage of the superstitions by wearing a Tenmataro costume. They knew that way no one could ever talk about him, so it's as if he never existed. Very smart. The defense holds this Tenmataro impersonator is the true killer.
What?
Objection!
Superstitious, you say? What kind of fool would actually believe such rubbish? And would that, using some silly fairy tale, could so easily expose the culprit? You'll need to come up with a more rational, common sense explanation than that.
Your common sense seems awfully narrow-minded to me, Prosecutor Blackquill.
Objection!
Try living in my world of narrow cells, mortal danger, and dark, sleepless nights. There is no lack of superstition in the clink, but few are those who believe in them.
Objection!
Well, the village superstitions are real enough for the people of Ninetails Vale. Life or death superstitions might make even you a believer.
Oh, my feather! God damn it! Order, order, I say!
You fool of a Tanuki. 2 times now your lies have cost me.
Sorry, I promise not to do it again.
I love him.
Taka, my fine feathered friend, have at him.
He's gonna eat me alive and for the hills.
He took off.
Bailiff, what are you waiting for? Arrest after him and with your fastest men!
That's certainly not something you see every day. Oh, God.
Well, it would seem a new and important fact has come to light. A third-party disguised as a yokai Tenmataro was at the scene. And now we have 2 witnesses who can attest to that fact. Any objections, Prosecutor Blackquill?
Get fucked. He realized he not built for this. Oh shit. Oh! What? Oh. Ah! His shackles! Fulbright, go! Fulbright, where are you?
Alright, worry not, friends. I will hunt down this vicious best man. God damn it, no! A big stab! Oh, is this how justice dies? Such a cruel death!
I'm too young to die.
Justice Dono. Long has it been since I've been forced to draw my blade. You'd best say your prayers.
Detective, do something!
I've no fear. Fulbright is here. When the going gets tough, the champion of justice gets going.
Let's get going already before he kills us.
But I stand in awe of Simon Blackwell, for his a sense of justice that has set him free.
Objection! I object to Detective Fulbright's definition of justice!
Imagine giving a convicted lawyer a starting card.
Silence.
I'm not in the habit of cutting down unarmed cowards.
Oh, well, in that case, Prosecutor Blackquill, can I ask you to, you know.
I think the judge forgot he's in charge here.
So, Justice Dono's assertion is this. Tenmataro is the real killer, not Mayor Tenma. According to him, there's a yokai at the scene of the crime.
Right. And that yokai, or rather, whoever was impersonating him, killed Alderman Kyubi.
Silence.
Care to explain why Jinxie, being the first to discover the murder, did not see your alleged killer yokai there in the Fox Chamber?
Huh? Oh, he's right. She said nothing about Tenmataro being in the Fox Chamber.
Let me enlighten you. The little scamp heard a dying scream right before she opened the chamber door.
And your point is?
Upon opening the door, she found a freshly skewed murder victim, the alderman, and the homicidal maniac who'd killed him, the mayor.
No, there must have been someone dressed up as
Then why does that little scamp claim to not have seen the yokai in the Fox Chamber?
Considering your father is accused of murder, surely she would have mentioned any third party that might have been in the room.
I don't understand. Why didn't she see Tenmataro inside the Fox Chamber?
There's but one way to find out. Ask Jinxie Tenma whether she saw your killer yokai at the scene of the crime.
Uh-oh.
The final battle draws nigh. only one of us will leave here alive. Long as my blade thirsted for blood, at long last it shall be sated.
Wait, this is still a trial, right?
Show me what you're truly capable of, Justice Dono.
Very well then, both parties no doubt need some time to regroup. So the court will take a 10-minute recess in order to... Ah!
3 minutes.
I'm sorry, but a 3-minute recess?
Just so, plenty of time if your destination of intent is the loo.
What if you have to take a fat shit?
The loo? You mean the bathroom?
Sheesh, at least include enough time to wash our hands.
See that you take no more than 3 minutes. All latecomers will be punished.
Yes, sir! I hereby declare a 3-minute recess before the battle begins!
I declare Prosecutor Blackquill the winner of this round of Simon Says. Doesn't bode well for us if the prosecutor is running the show, does it? I mean, Phoenix was able to handle it, so I'm sure you can too. I guess if you think about it, this is really Apollo's first experience with a prosecutor that's like actually doing all he can to win, rather than Clavier, who was always just like trying to find the truth. He busted out his shackles. Yeah, what was that all about? Guess they don't make shackles like they used to. You better be careful, Apollo. You've really brought out the samurai in him. Especially after you proved there was a Tenmataro impersonator at the manor. What's with the guy and the whole samurai act anyway? Fuck, what was your voice again? This is the issue with doing these so far apart. I completely forgot the voices for most of the characters. Yeah, he's OP. He's with the Sword of the Hawk. How can his sword reach like it's so? It's just a really long sword, you know. That what you're saying contradicts the facts. You say the monster.
This. Huh? I must break out of here at once. Her tormentors must be taught a lesson.
Oh, wait. First, we have to get you a not guilty verdict.
Don't try to stop me. This is about a father's duty to protect his darling daughter.
Okay.
Such fine swordsmanship! This is no mere act! Mr. Justice, it's high time I challenge this jailhouse prosecutor to a duel!
No, wait, let's save the dueling until after we prove your innocence.
I suppose it could wait till later.
Does anyone remember we're conducting a trial here? Athena, I'm gonna go wash up. Remember what Blackquill said, Apollo, don't be late.
Three minutes? Now then, I believe our next witness is Jinxie Tenma, a maid at QB Manor. I believe we can proceed now, if the witness is ready, that is.
Bro. Narayan, leader of the 100 demons, he really does exist. Wow, that is one well-polished tray.
The witness will show her face all in court, or her testimony will be inadmissible.
Yeah.
What is it, my child?
Be gone, Narayan, leader of the 100 demons.
Oh ho ho! You think of a yokai? Well, I was once known as a judicial monster of sorts. the beast of the bar, the demon of due process, if you will.
My charm has no effect.
A demon of due process. Not sure I can see that one.
Now, you little scamp.
Yes.
Where does he keep us for that long? Oh.
I trust you know why you're here.
Bags.
Bags. Oh, that tricksy Tanuki. Try a noodle stand. Go enjoy a big bowl of Tanuki-tailed noodles while you're at it.
Everyone's a comedian nowadays.
No, I mean your bags, the one under your eyes. You must have trouble sleeping. Here, this charm will keep Azukiara away.
Azukiara, the yokai that washes Azuki beans. The only thing needing washing will be your father's neck before I take his head clean off.
Azukiara, you have to keep people at night with the noise he makes washing beans. But if you stick this charm on your forehead, you won't hear him anymore.
Is that so? Well, thank you.
It's like Prosecutor Blackquill got more than he bargained for. They're bad enough alone, but together the two are just plain creepy. You know, aside from like, you know, all the like threats of murder, Blackquill seems like a pretty nice dude.
Your testimony, if you please, Miss Tenma. Specifically, whether or not you saw Tenma Taro when you discovered the crime scene.
Did I see Tenma Taro in the Fox Chamber? Well, when I opened the door, I saw. Yes, no, remember. You okay? You okay? Right there in the room.
Wow, short testimony. So there was a yokai at the scene of the crime?
Lots and lots of them.
Wait, more than one yokai? Did you see it? Did Tenma Taro happen to be among them?
I don't know. I just don't know. All I know is the room was swimming in yokai. Kasha, Nurikabe, Seta they were all there.
Well, this is an unexpected turn of events. We've gone from one yokai to a flood of them. It's like Murder on the Orient Express. Did they all kill Mr. Alderman together?
This is ludicrous. You would have this court listen to this
Delusional little scamp's testimony.
Thank you, Athena. Your Honor, I believe her memory is simply clouded by fear. But a quick therapy session should ease her mind. With the court's permission, of course.
What a fabulous idea. Please proceed, Miss Sykes.
Just random therapy in the middle of the courtroom. Sure know what you're doing, Athena. She's obviously not herself. The trauma of discovering that crime scene and fear of testifying have her dazed and confused. A regular ball of confusion. But my analytical psychology-based approach should be able to help.
Any objections, Prosecutor Blackquill? Shall we let Miss Sykes proceed?
It makes no difference to me.
Ah, then let me use my fucking bracelet, bitch boy.
As you will, but I doubt we get any valuable testimony.
Oh, are you scared of my perceiving powers?
She'd be better served by bearing witness to the sword skills I forged in a distant land.
He's such a weeb. Huh, I'll show you. All right.
I see Tenma Taro in the Fox Chamber.
When I opened the door, I saw. I remember. Yokai, right there in that room. Found something. Looks like an out of control emotion.
Athena, what exactly are we looking at here? Oh, this? That's one of Widget's functions. Right here, you can see images and emotions extracted from the witness's voice. Whoa, you mean that little things can do all this?
Pretty cool.
And here I thought it was just some kid's toy. Unfortunately, all I'm getting is an overflow error right now. See how sad is brightly lit at the bottom left? She's under an uncontrollable amount of distress. It seems the sheer terror she experienced has made her a confused mess. So, all those yokai she thinks she saw are a product of rampant emotions. Yeah, that's right. Her fear has instilled in her hallucinations and false memories. She's seeing normal everyday objects as monsters in her mind. It's a form of schizophrenic hallucination brought on by emotional trauma. And the trauma in Jinxie's case is fear. So she was and still is seeing ordinary objects as yokai. We'll have to find the root cause of her extreme fear before I can treat it. Now, let's see. Oh, can you point out the yokai on the wheel? Can you point out that yokai on the Wheel of Fire? She seems particularly terrified of that one. Start by pressing probe. Next, point to what's causing Jinxie's out-of-control emotion. Finally, hit probe again to try and get to the heart of the matter. Okay, let's give it a try. We got Wall Monster, Up Monsters, Raccoon Dog, Fireball Ghost. Jinxie, what's the name for that yokai on the Wheel of Fire?
That's Akasha, a yokai that steals the bodies of the recently deceased. I bet it came to steal the Aldermans.
It's almost creepy how well that fits the actual situation. Exactly, it's a form of hallucination where the patient can't see things for what they are. There must be something at the scene of the crime that she's mistaking for Akasha. Apollo, you need to point out what you thought was a yokai on the Wheel of Fire. I think I know the answer now. Jinxie, that wasn't Akasha you saw. I was mistaking this for Akasha. Yeah, the candelabra. Let's see, the candelabra was the Akasha. The balls of fire were the lamps. But interestingly, she saw another one over here, which is interesting. The cup demons were the broken key cups. I don't remember what the other ones were.
The light fixture?
This one right here. It is a flame design, and it's up there on the ceiling. There's never a yokai on the Wheel of Fire. The Akasha you saw was just a light fixture. Okay, what else do we have? We have the fucking raccoon. And we have... God. Oh no, there's only 2 balls of fire. Okay. That's one memory back to normal. Nice job. I think you've got the hang of it. It should be a cinch to point at the rest. Jinxie, how about this white wall-like monster?
That's Nurikami. It's a wall monster that blocks your way or leads you astray.
That's gotta be the folding screen. That's no yokai, Jinxie. It's a folding screen. Ah! And this raccoon dog isn't a Tanuki monster. It's just a statue of one. Ah! And look! These are just coffee cups. And this right here, it's nothing more than a fox statue.
Ah! I don't know what I was thinking.
Cool.
You did it, Apollo! My extreme fear is under control now.
It was all just my eyes playing tricks on me. There wasn't any yokai after all.
See? A clear-cut statement. That's the power of my psychology and your intuition, Apollo. And just like we thought, there never really were any yokai in the Fox Chamber.
Right. there never really were any yokai there. So, the defense is exerting the exact opposite of their original assertion.
Wait, Jinxie, what about Tenmataro?
There wasn't anyone there dressed up as Senmataro or any other yokai either. I remember it clearly now. You've gotta be joking!
I love them just depressed, hunched over the table.
Order! Order in the court! Ugh!
I think we just dug our own grave.
Allow me to push on you on in. It's the least I can do.
No! Apollo! Can I interrupt your freak out for just a minute? I'm still picking up some noise.
It's an unexpected emotion. Does that mean Jinxie hasn't remembered everything yet? Exactly! We should be able to get something else out of her. I'll enter the new information we have and run an update. Bro, she's shook. Hey, did I see Temeratar in the Fox Chamber? Sadness and surprise. I mean, I guess that makes sense. A sick beat. Hey, Blackquill, drop some bars. Drop some bars. Enter the room. Lights gave out and I fell on the floor. And it also gives us intensities. So mainly fear, but a little bit of surprise. I'm so scared when I enter the room. Okay, more surprise. That makes sense. Legs gave out and I fell to the floor. Mainly shock. Fox Samurai saw shiver. The alderman dead on a table and Papa collapsed in a chair. Nobody else was there, and that includes Tenmataro. Wait, what am I supposed to do? Try to find the emotions that contradict your statements. If I find a contradictory emotion, I should point it out. That's right, but it's not just contradictory emotions you should look out for. You also keep an eye out for sudden changes in an emotion's intensity. Emotions might get stronger or weaker as you move from statement to statement. We're to compare how the same emotion changes throughout the testimony. Contradictory emotions and changes in intensity. Okay, I'll give it a shot. Alright. Could it be the lack of fear there? Yeah. Yeah, because for most of the testimony, she's like... Obviously the, surprise, sort of goes in like an arc, right? But the fear for some reason just completely goes down out of nowhere.
Got it!
The amount of fear you felt is rather low despite your legs having given out from fright. Could something have lessened your fear?
Actually, I did experience a sudden burst of courage at that moment.
You did? Where did it come from?
Let me think. It was Mama. I suddenly felt as if she was there with me.
Okay, I'll enter sudden burst of courage. Now let's see. Look. Apollo, the noise is all gone. Jinxie seems to have remembered everything now. Nice.
Bye-bye.
A sudden burst of courage. Now, where could that have come from? Jinxie, was there something that gave you a sudden burst of courage?
Yes, there was, but I realized I had done something naughty when I thought about it later.
Any idea what could have given Jinxie that courage? Well, there's one piece of evidence that comes to mind. Yeah, the nine-tailed flower. I wonder if she saw something like that at the scene of the crime. Jinxie, did a sudden burst of courage have anything to do with this? Jinxie, you didn't happen to see a nine-tailed flower at the scene, did you?
The demon lawyer strikes again! I can't hide anything from you! I found a small case with a picture of a nine-tailed flower on it. I liked it so much I kept it.
You what? You can't remove evidence from a crime scene!
That's right, young lady. Removing evidence is a big no-no. Now, the witness will produce said evidence as it.
Sorry.
It does seem to be some sort of case. Ah, looks like something slid out. It appears to be a key.
Might I have a look, Your Baldness? Ah, this is none other than the master key to QB Manor.
Are you certain of this, Prosecutor Blackquill?
It matches the serial number of the key that went missing after the murder.
Thank you, Taka. You're being very helpful. A master key that went missing? Why don't I like the sound of that?
Our little scamp here has stumbled upon an article of unimaginable consequence.
That's a little melodramatic, don't you think?
Heed these words, for I shall say them but once. The sole key to the Fox Chamber has been in this little scamp's current possession. Ergo, just the sole person who could use it before, during, and after the murder. Which leaves the master key as the only other key that could have opened the chamber. But this master key was found in the room that had been locked by this girl.
There's a window and an air vent. Take your pick. And your point is?
Until Jinxie Tenma opened the Fox Chamber with her key, the room had been locked tight from the outside world. There's no one else in there, save for the victim and his killer. I trust you've figured that out for yourself by now. Killer other than Mayor Tenma himself would be utterly inconceivable.
No!
Objection!
Thanks, Athena. How could this happen?
The defense's assistant will refrain from growling her frustrations.
Athena, are you alright? I know Mayor Tenma's innocent, but there's nothing we can do.
It sucks.
Sykes, Dono. Allow me to put you out of your misery.
Can I decline your offer?
Abandon your client and your misplaced faith in him. Let the relief of a clear head and a clean conscience come rushing in. That will make the inevitable guilty verdict far easier to accept.
Right, now he's playing Simon Says to us. Well, he's not gonna fool us with his stupid mind games. Athena, don't fall for his tricks. No, I'm the one who's dazed and confused. I can't even think straight. Hey, are you alright? She fell right into a trap.
Now I suggest you make a mad dash for from the courthouse and into the wild blue yonder. Only by running shall your mind be cleared, your conscience cleansed.
Alright, I'll be back in 10. Stay with me, Athena. Don't let yourself be twisted by that samurai.
Apollo?
Mr. Justice, I heard the word objection, but what is it you object to?
Oh, right. That objection was more of a reflex than anything else. Though I was hoping something would come for me while I was trying to stop Athena. Ah, yes! The patented right technique! Oh, right in the fucking gallery, like, yeah, way to go, kid. That's how we do it. That's how we do it at the Right Anything Agency. That's my boy. Talasa would have been proud. How's the case going? I'm having a lot of fun with this one.
The court is waiting, Mr. Justice. Though, as it stands now, I'll be forced to declare your client guilty and your legal skills suspect if this is it.
But I took down the devil.
Now, do you have anything that could overturn the prosecution's case?
Well, actually, I do. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine. Apollo, you don't have something more than your courts of steel, do you? Not really, but we'll be fine. I've got absolutely nothing, but that's never stopped me before. To quote the great Hondo Onaka, we have something they don't, for we are desperate! I have to explain how the real killer could have escaped that locker room. The judge is only competent when the defense objects to something, because it's all over if I don't. Apollo, this calls for a new approach. Try to think outside the box. Or in this case, inside the box. And what a doozy that locked room is, too.
Well, Mr. Justice? Do you have anything that can counter the prosecution's argument?
You bet I do. The real killer must have escaped from the locker room one way or another.
A conjecture shall only earn you a taste of my blade, Justice Dono.
Time to do or die. Literally. Gatto's existence?
The defense will now explain how it would be possible to escape the locked room.
You sure about this, Apollo? Can you really explain what happened? I'm fine. We just need this whole escaping a locked room thing over from the beginning. So, let's see. If the killer had escaped, how could they have done so? Yeah, the choices are pretty limited. The room is a window, but it doesn't open wide enough for anyone to get through. And there's a sheer cliff outside. Okay, so that's not gonna work. As for the air vent, it's up too high and there's nothing can stand on to reach it. Maybe there's something in the Forbidden Chamber? Seems far-fetched, though. And needless to say, the Forbidden Chamber wouldn't open no matter what we did, so that's out. Yeah, that's why we gotta keep the solution simple. Like they say, simple is best. We need to rule out all the absolutely impossible escape routes. And whatever's left just might lead us to how the Fox Chamber is compromised. Your Honor, the defense proposes the killer escape through here. Alright, let's think. I think the window seems the least likely one because it's just or no. Because if there's nothing to reach the air duct, then it can't have been the air duct. And the window doesn't open far enough, and the Forbidden Chamber is locked, which means they must have just exited through the normal way. Which means, most likely, they hid somewhere in the room. The killer hid in the room when, Jinxie ran in and found the bodies. Then Jinxie ran off to go call the police, leaving the door unlocked. That's when the killer made their escape and ran into Jinxie. I think that's the only solution, right? Fuck. I think the killer must have escaped through the normal door.
The hallway door! Well, yes, I suppose it would be the only way out.
Huh. It would appear you've already forgotten. The only available key until Jinxie Tenma came on scene was within the locked room. How would one exit the Fox Chamber and lock it without a key, huh?
I should have seen this coming. Remember Apollo, keep it simple. That is the most simple one! Simple, right. I could understand if the killer had exited the room with the key, but...
Well, Mr. Justice, the prosecution is some fine Japanese steel waiting until you explain yourself quickly. What the fuck?
No! I'm fine. I can explain myself. The reason the Fox Chamber's hallway door was locked was because... locked on its own. Yeah, Tenma locked it from inside. Mayor Tenma locked it himself. After the killer. Wait, what? No, I meant Tenma Taro! So, you know, maybe having two characters in this fucking murder, both called Tenma, is, was not a great idea. Just in case the killer decided to return. That would explain why the room was locked.
Yes, I see. Then again, wouldn't Mayor Tenma have mentioned that himself?
Oh, but maybe it slipped his mind because of the blow to his head. I didn't mean that Tenma game.
I've already considered and investigated such possibilities.
You have?
The mayor's fingerprints were not found on the door or its doorknob. The only fingerprints found belonged to the alderman. Ergo, the mayor did not so much as touch the door.
Okay then, how about... yeah, like, I assumed that meant Tenma Taro, not... Come on! The perp couldn't have locked it from the outside because there's no key. So it must have locked on its own. Maybe the door closed accidentally on its own?
The killer will never be identified. We have attribute key moments to mere chance. Perhaps the spear just happened to fly out of the wall, impale the alderman too. Perhaps that sedative just happened to make its way into his coffee. More chance could explain any number of things.
Right, next idea then. What if the room was locked from the outside? In other words, the killer took the key through the hallway door and locked it.
Consider this. The master key was found inside the tightly locked box chamber. Any assertion the key was removed from the room is a blatant contradiction of facts.
Exiting the room before locking the door would require taking the key outside. But the key was found inside the room, which does seem like a contradiction. Unless they fucking exited the room, locked it, then crawled into the air duct and threw the key into the room through the air duct, which is fucking insane. Well, we could explain both. Like, how the key could be inside the room and used to lock the door from the outside.
Well, let's see if the defense can respond before Prosecutor Blackquill draws his sword. This is... Could the master key be at the crime scene despite the lock being room to sight?
Door's open. Change the lock. He threw it in from outside. What if someone threw it into the room from outside? You know, something like... Go out the hallway door, lock the room, toss the key back in through the window. That would explain how the master key could be inside the locked room.
And where would you throw it from? Where's a cliff? There's a cliff outside the Fox Chamber's window. Throwing the key in from there is an impossibility.
Oh, right. Ah! I wonder if the key could have been tossed in from somewhere other than the window. Somewhere other than the window. Huh. Yeah, been tossed in through somewhere other. Yeah, the air duct.
The air vent!
Yes, the window may be out of the question, but the air vent's not. Oh, that's right. The Fox Chamber's air duct leads out into the hallway. That's right. The real killer entered the air duct from the vent outside the Fox Chamber. Why aren't they putting Blackquill's shackles back on? I'm not going. Pray tell, who's gonna go near him to do that? Then drop the key into the room through the vent inside the chamber.
Huh? That's preposterous!
Oh, that explains why the key got in there after it was used to lock the door perfectly. Full right. He might just succeed.
Mr. Justice, I'm afraid I'm a bit confused.
Don't worry. I'll explain it so even Your Honor can understand. Bro! He was like, ah! First, the real killer, disguised as Tenataru, murdered the alderman in the Fox Chamber. Then they fled the room through the hallway door and locked it. Next, they entered the air duct from the vent outside the hallway. Finally, the killer tossed the key into the room through the air vent in the ceiling there. All that was left to do after that was go back through the duct and flee the manor. Well, Your Honor, could that be any clearer?
Amazing! Even I could follow that.
The judge seems really pleased. That explains everything. The real killer was someone dressed like Temtara. There was someone other than the mayor and the alderman in that room.
Hey, it looks like that lawyer is being the jailbird prosecutor.
Whoa, that was total a turnabout! That was a massive forehead of his, seems much smaller now. The protagonist insults the judge's intelligence and gets away with it. I'm pretty sure Phoenix has done that at some point.
Order, 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 I say.
Now that I've proved a possible third party, I don't see how our client could be guilty.
Silence.
A valiant effort, Justice Dono, but your final thrust missed the mark.
Huh?
Both that little scamp and the tricksy Tanuki saw the yokai after it left the room. But then what? Did that irksome yokai simply go through the foyer and waltz right out the front door?
That's exactly what happened. The killer fled from the
But that's impossible. Without being spotted by the foyer security camera, that is. The electric eye here would have captured the pesky little yokai trying to escape.
Not if they went out through the other door, which I have no idea where it leads. Ah, only in his mind. Got it.
However, there's no sign of Tenmataro anywhere in the security footage.
What?
Save for the foyer entrance, there's no other way to flee the manor, is there?
Well, they didn't need to flee the manor. They would just need to get to an empty room to change out of the Tenmotaro costume, and then find a way to dispose of it. Oh, feels so good.
Hold it!
Wait, I believe there's one other way to escape besides the foyer entrance. There's a large window in the foyer. It's possible to escape through there without being seen by the security camera. Hey, you're right.
Silence.
Must I point out every crucial detail to the defense? It seems you lack not only in brains, but investigative prowess to boot. This is the cliff side of the manor.
Yeah.
The only killer escaping that way would be a dead one.
Oh! Wait, so the killer didn't escape out the foyer window?
What the heck, right?
I suppose your next proposal is the killer spread wings. Flew off into the sunset?
Well, now that you mention it, I have this newspaper article that may or may not have been captured by Lotta Hart.
I mean, the killer really was a yokai. Yeah, if only we had some sort of evidence that could point to a flying killer.
I'm saying we don't. As completely far-fetched as it might be.
What? You're saying you could prove the killer could fly? I mean, you know, I've read up on the case files of I read up on some Mr. Wright's old case files. You ever heard about the trial of Maximilian Galactica? The circus dude? Oh, I thought I was the only one with cords of steel.
I would like to think it was Brushel instead of Lotta. You think Brushel, you think a man of his caliber would waste his time on sensational news stories about monsters or whatever instead of doing a real investigative journalism? Like uncovering like years worth of like legal conspiracy? Fuck no, Lotto's the fucking idiot that goes after like the quick, easy like monster scoops, like the lake monster or whatever.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
You're not.
What evidence do you have the killer flew away?
There you go.
Take a look at this special edition paper.
Tenmataro, real or fancy, or flight of fancy? What does this article prove, Mr. Justice?
Photo in the article was taken shortly after the murder. Maybe the yokai in the photo is the killer? Shortly after they fled out the window?
Mr. Justice, you're not seriously suggesting...
Oh, I'm serious. I mean, it all adds up. The killer disguised as Tenmataru flew away. You know, by some way or another. Yeah, but where did the staff go? The Tenmataru in the newspaper article doesn't have a staff. Yet from the testimonies of both Lotta, or Jinxie, and Filch, we know that he had the staff with him. So where did it go?
Silence.
It is your brain that has flown the coop. The image is not trick photography or some other form of artifice.
Okay, then how about Tenmataru figure Mr. Filch saw? It just vanished into thin air.
No, there's a rational common sense explanation for that. The infernal yokai, or Trixie Tanuki witness, never reached the entrance. He, or should I say she, turned back before the camera's electric eye.
Gee. I don't like where this is going one bit.
Now, the fact that we know the yokai had come from the Fox Chamber means that it was likely either Mayor Damien Tenma or his daughter Jinxie Tenma. However, we know that Mayor Tenma was already unconscious at the time.
Not good. Not good at all.
Do you understand the gravity of the situation now, Justice Dono?
Hey, Bunyo, maybe the staff is hidden jetpack? That would be incredible. I don't think Ace Attorney has the sauce required to pull that off. I'm gonna be honest. That, let me think. Yeah, I got an idea for you, Blackwell. You seem to be forgetting something, a kind of a crucial piece of evidence here. And that's the fact that there was a certain, there's a certain dude, forgetting his name, Florent LaBelle, who was in the foyer with Filch when Filch spotted Tenmataro. So, I think, we should question Mr. LaBelle. Let's get him on the stand. How does that sound, you know? So, how old is, 28. Okay. Wow. A prosecutor that isn't like 17 years old. That's incredible. It's not that much worse than the rope in 3-5. By worse, I mean unlikely. I'm gonna be honest, the rope in 3-5 would be worse than a jetpack stick, because like at least the jetpack stick, like they could just like say it's a jetpack stick and then like, okay, it's a jetpack stick. That rope, just that's not how a rope works.
The falsified yokai remnants and the appearance of Tenmataro were the work of one individual. And that individual is no other than Jinxie Tenma.
Yeah. Ah, no! Blacquill, you seem to be forgetting there was one other person in the mansion at the time.
Order, order. The defense will stop competing for the greatest freakout ever.
The little scamp was no doubt simply trying to protect her father. And it was no wonder that her superstitious mind conjured up this mad masquerade.
Prosecutor Blackquill's assertion makes perfect sense to me.
Alright, Blacquill. Sorry, no, I'm not even gonna call you that. It sounds too badass. Alright, Simon. Alright, Simon. So, answer me this one. If the person wearing the Tenmataro costume decided not to leave the house upon realization that they would be caught on the security camera footage, even though if Jinxie wanted to sort of, fabricate a monster to take the blame off her father, getting captured on the security camera feels like something she would want to happen. But let's assume, for some reason, as you asserted, the Tenmataro came out, saw the thing, ran back inside. Pray tell then, why didn't Detective Fulbright find a Tenmataro costume anywhere in that mansion? How did that work, huh?
It's far more convincing than saying the killer escaped by flying out the window.
Did you truly believe this could end any other way?
Did we fall right into his trap? What do we do now, Apollo? Our case no longer stands without a real yokai. Only we had one.
Bailiff, Caesar. It is time I interrogated her as the samurai of yore did work.
Mayor Tenma. Oh, he is pissed.
This farce is over. How does it feel, seeing your own daughter accused of a cover-up most foul?
Tenmataro's true identity is...
Now, Mayor. It would be futile at this point to claim you were the yokai. After all, you had been knocked out cold by a blow to the skull. Slipping into a yokai costume and roaming about the manor would be all but impossible. Consider this well. As it stands, your daughter will be arrested for obstruction of justice. But if you confess, the prosecution would be willing to overlook her little yokai farce.
Confess? The defendant intends to confess?
Wait! Apollo! Prosecutor Blackquill's up to his mind games again!
Mayor Tenma, no! Don't fall for his twisted words. If you're sent away for murder, Jinxie will be left all alone.
The real killer is...
Mayor Tenma's gonna confess unless you do something. But I can't prove how the real killer could have flown away.
Look upon me and despair, for ripe is the time for my return.
Huh? Uh-oh. I should watch what I wish for.
Foolish mortals! I am Tenmataro, the yokai you seek!
Ah! Mayor Tenma?
Silence! I am Tenmataro, freed from the bonds binding me to the Forbidden Chamber. Behold the return of the Demon King!
Bro thinks he's Piccolo. Demon King?
Well then, I think it's time for me to take a vacation.
Oh, we're so screwed.
The witness will... he will explain himself? Are you saying you're Tenmataro? The yokai we've been chasing this whole time?
Indeed, it is I, Tenmataro, the one whom you seek, come to reveal the truth. This child is Tenmataro, you say? Ha! What nonsense!
So, Mayor Tenma is a yokai now?
His body is now mine!
So, you're saying Mayor Tenma is being possessed by you? And that the yokai that Jinxie Tenma and Phineas Filch saw was... and the one captured in the newspaper photo, those were all you?
The accursed power of his warding charm prevents me from revealing my true form.
Bro, you got the whole squad laughing. You got the whole squad laughing. Oh, that's a good image.
Your baldness. Can this not be interpreted as an admission of guilt?
Well, a confession by a yokai would be quite unprecedented.
Be that as it may, the defense's case has been overturned.
What?
You claim the yokai the little scamp saw was the third party, the true killer. The one who escaped from the locked fox chamber. But it was the accused all along. Ironic, is it not? Your yokai turned out to be real, in a manner of speaking. For the Ultimate's killer was none other than Mayor Tenma. And the yokai at the scene, that too was Mayor Tenma. Or should I say, our dear Tenmataro.
I thought you didn't believe in superstitions, Prosecutor Blackquill.
The pieces have fallen into place.
How so, Prosecutor Blackquill?
It seems I must spell it all out for you. Mayor Tenma killed the Ultimate in the Fox Chamber, which was locked at the time. He then removed the warding charm from the Forbidden Chamber's door. It then fell unconscious from the blow the Ultimate delivered to his head. That's when his daughter, Jinxie Tenma, stumbled on the scene of the crime.
So I'm gonna end once. I'm guessing you mean the trial ends? Continue after the trial? I'm probably gonna end it once we reach the next checkpoint.
The little scamp fled in terror, whereupon the spirit of Tenmataro, freed at last from the chamber's warding effect, took possession of the mayor. The newly freed Tenmataro then fled from the Fox Chamber. So you see, the yokai Jinxie Tenma saw was her father, possessed by Tenmataro.
Where did the staff come from, dickweed?
Objection!
But when we arrived at the scene, the mayor was found unconscious. How's that possible? If he was supposed to have flown out the foyer window.
Then what do you mean to say the maid of Kyubi Manor? And what? Do you mean to say the maid of Kyubi Manor, Jinxie Tenma, was Tenmataro?
No, I'm saying you're a fucking idiot because this is the worst argument I've seen in my life. Oh.
That too is easily explained. Flew for a time, I did, but presently tired, I made for the Forbidden Chamber. But last exhaustion took me unawares in the Hawk's Chamber, and I knew no more.
It would seem the pieces are still in place.
Is Blackquill up to his tricks again?
I don't know what to say. Is the defendant real? Is the defendant a real, live? That rumor about Mayor Tenma is true. I knew the yokai were real.
You mean he really did kill the alderman just so he could release Tenmataro?
Order, order.
I know he's got everyone in the courtroom believing in yokai. It's Simon Says on steroids! He wants to convict our client any way he can, even if it means blaming a yokai. My goat, Gavin, would never.
The proverbial ducks are all in a row. You should now have no qualms about finding the accused guilty, your baldness.
This is one of the most bizarre cases in my entire career. Otherworldly, in fact. Can yokai even be prosecuted under our legal system?
Objection!
Mayor Tenma is just pretending to be Tenmataro to protect his daughter. Plus, I already proved how a third party could have escaped from the locked room. A verdict at this point would be premature.
Good. Since both sides have raised valid points, I have no choice but to...
I think they were just calling it Simon Says whenever Blackquill, like, does his, like, psychology thing.
This is the dark age of the law where defense attorneys are not to be trusted.
Is it though? I'm pretty sure the dark age of the law was ushered by your existence as a prosecutor. What?
This is but a ploy to gain time for them to fabricate evidence. How will I sleep tonight? Knowing you will not let the sun rise on the mayor's day of reckoning. Justice Dono.
Objection!
I won't fabricate any evidence.
Silence!
And prove it by joining me. At night in the clink will ensure you will not succumb to temptation.
But I just promise not to succumb to anything.
We have both evidence and a confession. The killer is this yokai before us. It is beyond dispute. A guilty verdict is all but...
What's wrong with him?
Prosecutor Blackquill, we've had enough of your hijinks!
Fall behind my goat!
The foundation of justice is fair play, and you're in serious violation of that.
What in the devil was that?
Fool Bright, have you tampered with thy shackles in some manner? Ha 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 ha! It seems you found that quite shocking. It's my special jolt of justice device. Its price is a shocking reminder to behave.
You shall pay for this. I, Simon Black...
I guess it...
Your Honor, you need not fear now. I believe Prosecutor Blackquill will remain on his best behavior.
A bit late with the reassurances, aren't we, detective?
Well, I was having fun watching, him talk about justice and stuff. Well, in that case, that concludes today's deliberations. The prosecution and defense will use this opportunity to further their investigations. This court is adjourned.
Thank you, Fulbright. I do like Fulbright. I think he's nice. I mean, I'd rather we still had Emma, you know. Nope. We're good here. All right, then that's gonna do it for today's episode of Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. Hell yeah! Woo! It reminds me of Meekins a bit. He's Meekins, but like actually kind of competent, you know? So I don't know. I like him. I like Fulbright. He's actually like in it for like the right reasons and shit. It's cool. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I guess we're gonna need to do some more investigation before we can come to any conclusions. I mean, it's obvious that LaBelle was the killer and that he likely put on the Tenmataro costume. But we need to figure out where the staff came from. We need to figure out what happened after he got to the foyer in the costume. And we need to figure out how that picture, well, where the staff came from and where did it go. Yeah, I like it, yeah. But yeah, we're gonna need to figure out where the staff came from, where did it go, and then yeah, how was that picture of the flying Tenmataro taken? There's yeah, we definitely still need a bit more investigation before we can fully uncover this case. I think you enjoy this case, but I really don't like it. I don't know. We'll see how it progresses. So far, I'm just enjoying how like balls to the wall, over the top ridiculousness it is. It's fun. It's just it's a fun case. It's kind of like Turnabout Big Top. I love Turnabout Big Top, despite the fact that people hate it, because I just find it fun. The characters are fun. It's a wacky scenario. They both have a flying killer supposedly. So yeah. That being said, we're gonna leave this off here. Next stream is gonna be Persona 5. Then the stream after that will be Persona 3, then Persona 5 again, and then after that we'll be continuing Dual Destinies, unless I finish Persona 5 before then, in which case the schedule will hopefully clear up a bit more. But yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like if you haven't already, subscribe, and I'll see you all maybe Tuesday for some Persona 5. I'm not sure on that. We'll see. All right, see y'all.